Hello, guys. Welcome to Sex in Toronto City. I'm your host, Beatriz Vieira. Thank you so much for being here in one more episode with me. And just to let you know that today's episode is brought by Joy Kebu, a communication contractor with 25 years of experience, making communication happen all over the world. Guys, thank you so much. And today I have for you a treat. I have somebody that is like all the way in Nigeria. Her name's Kebu Joy. Welcome, Kebu Joy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Kebu Joy is a sex coach and intimacy. So as you are in this field, you must hear a lot of stories and things that like you deal with daily and that people are always curious. And today we will talk about what to do when we are in a committed relationship.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Because it happens a lot. Like, for example, I was in a committed relationship 6 years or 8 years. Like I had a long-term relationships. And it did happen that the fact that I was being approached by another person, that he was in a committed relationship, I never crossed the boundaries because for me it's a no-no. But I know that does happen to other people that do cross this boundary. What to do
Right.
when we get in a situation where we're in a committed relationship? We feel attracted to, let's say, somebody that's at work. What we do, Kebu Joy?
Okay, so first of all, I need to make us understand this, right? Let's past all the morals and the religion and societal perception of being attracted to someone else while in a committed relationship. I believe it's very natural, right? As humans, we are designed that way to feel attraction to everything that actually looks pleasing, whether to us emotionally or mentally or physically or sexually, right? So it's to be attracted to someone else while in a relationship with another person or in a committed relationship. But what you do about it is an entirely different conversation. And I think that conversation will also branch off of the fact that we have different forms of, attraction, right? Different, could be physical attraction, where you are attracted based on their physical features. Oh, they look good, they have this and that. Or it could be emotional. You like their heart, you like their character, you like their personality. And so you're attracted to them based on that. And it could be sexual, right? Like you find them sexually attractive or intellectually attractive, their minds and the way they think and the way they have conversation. So I think the first thing for me, as a poly person, it's easy for me to express it out to my partner, right? But it's not easy for so many people to even accept it in the first place that, oh, I feel attraction to this person. So many people are going to...
It's so hard because I think you're going to hurt the other person and you're going to lose the trust that you have, because some people will think, I remember to be very insecure girl when I was like in my 20s. And if my boyfriend at the time would come to me and say, oh, this girl's hot, she's hot, I was like, oh my gosh, he doesn't love me anymore. He's interested for another person, and then I start to build all this kind of like things in my head and the cloud. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it can't be like that, because we've come from a culture, first of all, that makes it look like people who are in a committed relationship shouldn't feel attraction to somebody else. So when they feel that, it means that something is probably wrong with their relationship or something is wrong with they themselves. And so because of that, we can have all of those blockages and all of that issue with expressing it. But the truth is, when couples make it a culture to openly share and talk about stuff in their relationship, when two people who are, like you said, very secured enter into a relationship, it's so easy for us to trust that this is our natural state of being and it doesn't mean anything, right? And I think it starts with the individual who is feeling the attraction.
Yeah, but what if the other person come and say, because I know there is people who listen to us and they're gonna be like, whoa, that's not for me. If my boyfriend, my girlfriend, or my wife or my husband ever tells me they're attracted, it's a big no, it's divorce, it's breakup right there, right? And like it's true. Like there is that, because I was in that position before. Before I was in such like, oh, it's a no, it's like, don't talk to me about it. And I remember to be in that kind of situation. So I wanted to rephrase, because it's to learn that somebody telling you that they think or feel that this person is attracted. It's one thing. Now, what would do if they come to you and say, I love you, like you, my girl, I love you, but I wanted to go and sleep around. And then I want to sleep around. I wanted to try to see what it is there. How do you feel? Like how to deal with that?
So the thing is, like I said, couples need to have a culture of openly sharing. I mean, you cannot just walk up to your partner who you've never even been able to share anything with that is basic, and just come up to them and you're having sexual attraction to somebody and you want that attraction. I mean, even from my own point of view, it doesn't make sense, because we've never even talked about the basics of talking about things naturally between us, and now we're involving talking about another person. Yeah. Of course. And like I said, from both partners, we have to understand first that attractions are different, right? The fact that a partner is attracted to someone does not necessarily mean that they want to pursue that attraction, or it does not mean that they have a romantic kind of attraction or sexual attraction to that person. If my partner somebody else's plants in their garden and say, oh my God, this is so beautiful, right? Or they can see someone else's cat or dog that is not theirs and say, this is beautiful. Then they should be able to see other humans and see them as beautiful or good looking. And maybe because my partner is insecure, I might want to be careful expressing certain things like that to my partner. But I am saying naturally, it needs to be a culture in relationships for people to be free enough to share with their partners what they're feeling and what they're thinking, because guess what, that also helps them to stay in check as well. Because if I can tell my partner about the attraction that I, chances are I'm not going to want to pursue that attraction again, because now my partner, we can talk about it and they can keep me in check, versus when I'm trying to hide it from my partner and the energy festers, and then I go behind their back and pursue the attraction. And then the guilt, I can't even come to tell them I've made a mistake, and it continues to spiral like that.
Exactly. I remember I was in a committed relationship and I found out that he was messaging like 5 different girls. And I come up and I say, why were you doing that? Like, why are you not connecting with me in this emotional level? And all it come out was like a question of me not being living the same city and same space. So he always felt insecure and afraid if I would have been leaving that city at one point. But for me, I was like, there was not a reason for you not to openly talk to me. I think like people get too much in their heads of the fear of opening and be real and to be just respectful and to be considerate how to approach, then just go and do things behind your partner backs.
Yeah. And I think it's important for partners to also understand the dynamic of relationships that they are in. If you are in a monogamous relationship with a monogamous person, of course, you understand that that person is a one man, one woman kind of person, or one woman, one man kind of person. So if you have an attraction with someone else other than them, it might be a little more difficult for you to actually express that attraction. But again, back to the fact that it's important for couples to have a culture of openly sharing. We are talking. It does not mean that we want to go after the attraction. It just means that we are talking about it and we are letting each other be intimate with ourselves and be open to our thoughts and, you know, what we're thinking in our heads, what we are feeling in our bodies, and all of that, all of those stuff. Because if I cannot be safe enough to share all of those stuff with my partner, who am I going to be able to share all of those stuff with, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
when imagine if I have an attraction with someone and now I don't feel safe to talk to my partner, and then I make a mistake, and then the person that I made a mistake with happens to be someone who is open enough for me to be able to share and talk to them. It becomes a big problem in the relationship.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
just have a conversation, normal conversation, right?
Yeah, and I
So
feel
yeah,
like, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just rounding up on that.
Okay, so yeah, so I agree with you, and a lot of people that I talk, you know, because I have many different friends, like male and female, and I talk to them about like fidelity and all. Like, people seems to be interested more in a monogamous relationship, but I feel it's a little bit hypocritical when they try to be in one but are not being themselves, like being really truly and accepting. Like, the acceptance is not there. For example, I have been 9 years single and dating here and there, trying to have a relationship with somebody, and it seems like very hard for me to connect with somebody. Probably I have like some blockage.
Yeah, blogs.
Blockage.
Blog. I get.
Yeah, my English sometimes get a little bit hostile.
Mhm.
So I still have some barriers that doesn't allow me to connect in an emotional level with somebody, but also because I don't feel that the person comes along to me are open enough to accept who I am right now. Because
Yeah.
for being in a monogamous relationship for so long, and I got cheated on and I got hurt, I feel I'm not ready to just jump into a committed relationship like that. I feel like I wanted to just stay, try to see the person, and, you know, be open about it. Like, and then if it happens that, you know, we are in a both intimate and very close, very emotionally intimate, physically intimate, mentally intimate, there has to be all those components.
Yeah.
So for your expertise and your tips that you would give to women that are extremely insecure, because I feel like a more woman, it has this kind of issue, like men does too, but I feel woman is more insecure about like coming, approaching, and the partner approaching them and hearing that. What would be a tip for them to kind of make them open mind a little bit more about just to hear the fact that the partner are probably attracted to another woman, and like how to deal with that?
I'm going to first of all, like, okay, I'm going to sum that all up into 3 words, like, set yourself free. I mean, don't be so hard on yourself, right? Because the fact that your partner has an attraction to somebody else, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the fact that they don't love you anymore. It has nothing to do with the fact that there's something wrong with you, or, you know, you're not doing enough, or you're not showing them enough love. It just means that they are in their human nature, which there is nothing that you can do about it. So the only thing that you can really do is to begin to understand your own self as an individual, because trust me, you also have all of this stuff that are peculiar to you, just as your partner does.
Yeah.
And the more you begin to open up to your own self, accept yourself more, you know, be more intimate with yourself, be free with yourself, give yourself permission to just be, and, you know, to feel stable in yourself, it becomes so easy to feel so secure. And when your partner comes to tell you some certain things like that, you're not comparing yourself to the other person. You're not downsizing yourself. You're not, you know, downsizing your effort in the relationship just because your partner expresses openly something that they genuinely feels, right?
Yeah.
And so it's easy for you to, you know, open up and listen to what is not really being said, because at the end of the day, there's a particular thing that is attracting, that is making them attracted to that other person. And you can listen to that. if you want to keep your partner to yourself, merely listening to that particular expression, like, okay, I'm attracted to her, talk about it. Why, what exactly makes you attracted to this person? Oh, I like the way she was talking like this. She was, I like the way she behaves. I like the certain part. It doesn't mean you have to change yourself, but understanding that helps you to actually better position yourself to serve in your relationship. That actually makes sense. Just set yourself free. And
I like that. I like all the things that you're saying about setting yourselves for free, because I remember, and I actually, it's so funny because I went to Montreal, like, we tried to connect there, and I took a girlfriend with me, and she has been going through a breakup, and he left her to another girl, and she created fake accounts, and she's kind of like sneaking and try to see and showing me pictures of the new girl, and I'm like, can you just stop? Like, this is sickening. This is sickening. Don't do that yourself. It's nothing to do about you. It's all to do about the process this man is into of knowing himself. And sometimes some people come along and they bring something else out of us and just make us feel different. And since he know that you guys in a monogamous relationship, he cannot have both. He just split up with you to go discover whatever he has to discover with this other person, right? Yeah. So I would say also for the girls out there, being myself in that position once upon a time, to not seek yourself. That's not a healthy thing to do for your mental health, for your emotional health, for your physical health, to just go and spy on the guy, creating fake accounts and, stalking him on social media. Stop that. That's not healthy. It's nothing to do with you. Another thing too that I want you to share with our followers, what a tip would you give for a man that wants to talk to his girlfriend about being attracted to another person, but he knows that she's overly sensitive, like she's too sensitive? How to create this kind of space to talk to her?
So I recently wrote a book, which is called s3x, right away. And that book was actually specifically to help people have this kind of conversations, because I noticed that it was so common amongst couples that I was facilitating conversations, amongst them. And it's one of the things that I think men really need to understand, that if you want to have a conversation like that with your woman, especially if you're in a monogamous relationship, because for poly people, it's so easy because we already talk about stuff, we set ground rules, we set all of those boundaries. So talking about those kind of things, but monogamous woman, safety first. Like, you have to make her feel safe. You have to do everything to the point where all our defenses are down. You don't want all that defenses, all that anger, all that flaring up. You want to get her right at the sweet spot, right? And that entails that you pay attention to your woman's differences before you're having that conversation with her. In what way does she like to be initiated into a conversation that makes her really feel safe? In what way does she, does a conversation, in what sense will a conversation sound pleasurable to her? Meaning that, what is in it for me in this conversation? Because it's not just about the fact that you're attracted to this person. How does this benefit me or this relationship that we have together, right? And so I think important to men is that make sure your woman is safe before you have that kind of conversation with her. Make sure that you help her drop all our defenses, like everything all the way down. There's no walls, there's no block, there's nothing. She just feels open to actually listen and receive that. And I really give her really deep details about all of this process in that book, actually.
Okay, that's great. What is the name again, just so everybody have a chance to listen? s3x. Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty good tip. I'm sure everybody's going to be looking into that. And also, one of the things that is hard for a woman is the deal after, just to deal with that news after, and like when that your partner is interested in another woman, then they created this cycle of like checking his phone. Are they like texting? Are they communicating? Like how this is so hard to deal with, because there's no safety. There's no guarantee that this person is not gonna go and act on. But I think it's a good point that if he comes to you and share with you that he's attracted to somebody else, the problem, or the good thing is he might don't want to act on, and he preventing to do it by communicating with you to see if you can comfort him on the lack of whatever is happening. I don't know if I'm processing this correctly. What do you think about that one?
That you said there is no guarantee, because like truthfully, there is no guarantee that it's still not going to go behind your back to go do it, right? But you don't want to put yourself in that position where you are so buried into insecurity that you are snooping around, checking his phone. It's not going to do you any good.
No.
I mean, he wants to do whatever he wants to do. He's going to do it anyway, and it's not going to do you any good to check if you're texting or whatever. But I need women to learn to trust their partners more. At least even if you've had past relationships where you've trusted someone and then they ditched your trust, this present moment, you have to still learn to trust this person that you are with, because oftentimes we take the past into the present, and that could actually ruin the present. It's not like our partners really want to go do it behind our back, but because we keep infesting it with this energy of not trusting, or sitting in the past, we actually create what wasn't supposed to exist, and it manifests into our reality, right? So we want to be careful. It can be hard, because I've done it in the past, right? I've done it in the past myself, and it doesn't do you any good. It ruins your mental state of mind and your confidence, most especially in yourself.
Oh yeah, and you don't, for a woman, big time.
In the fact that he's sharing with you, and he's giving you his word to actually just, then is a totally different conversation, but just stay in that present moment of sharing it.
Yes, I like that. I like what you're saying. And I think like for me, when I try to stay in the relationship and try to build the trust and try to just stay, because I loved him so much. I had so much good memories, and I had like years invested in that relationship. I didn't want to just throw it out, but after a year and something, I realized I couldn't do it, because I was actually in this pattern of checking his phone, checking his mails, who's talking to. Like I was making myself sick. So I knew that trust is gone. I could never get back. So I preferred to let that person go. And I was able to be like, finally, right? Because it's the sickening thing to just being spying somebody, checking. Okay, now you're gonna need to share me your location so I can know where you are.
No.
So a personal question for you, because we are talking here and we're giving like people tips and whatever, but it's easy to say to people what to do than what we do ourselves. Have you ever been in this position before yourself, where your partner came to you and say, I'm attracted to X woman?
My previous relationship was a mess. Like I literally self-destructed in that relationship. To the point that we were open enough to, to share sexual experiences and all that. A situation of him telling me about his attraction to someone, maybe at his workplace or something, I couldn't handle it. Very insecure about myself, right? And it went through the spiral, like usual, checking his phone, and when he doesn't come home when he's supposed to come home, it becomes a problem, and then we fight about it. Where did you go? Whatever. To the point where I started making assumptions at some point. You probably got to see her, and all of those stuff, and you wasn't really good. And
now you needed to change a job. I don't like that job.
Yeah, it was really bad. But at some point, I realized what I was doing to myself, because I was like a watered down version of myself. I didn't even have the energy to pursue my business. Like, I didn't have the energy to do all this stuff in my life. I was so focused on checking his every step and monitoring him and making sure that he doesn't go away out of the relationship, right? But in that moment of really coming back to myself, I realized that I cannot keep doing this. Because to be honest, it really did have nothing to do with me. I was doing my best in the relationship. And that was just, and now that I can't deal with the fact that he's constantly seeing other people, finding other people attractive, which I knew he was also pursuing, I couldn't deal with that. And so I just had to let the relationship go.
Good for you.
And yeah, and in the process of that relationship, I had to work on myself a lot, because I had to take conscious effort to heal my insecurity, because one, I'm I see myself as an hopeless romantic, even with very hard exterior. I love love. I like to share love and all that. So I knew I was going to be in a new relationship pretty soon, but I knew I had to work on that particular part of myself. And I'm so happy that I did that, because now we have all this conversation in my new relationship where we're able to share with each other, oh, I'm attracted to this person, I find this person attractive. But one thing that is important that we do is we lay it on the table. Like, we don't just say I'm attracted to this person. Why am I attracted to this person? I would not say I'm attracted to this person and leave my partner wondering why. I'm going to say it all in one sentence, right? Expressing it all at once. Know exactly what the scenario was like. Oh, we were talking about this, and it was spitting some really good stuff, and that just made me attracted. Or maybe I find him sexually attractive, and I was open if we could probably have a threesome with him. Is that something you're open with? If he's open to it, fine. If he's not open to it, I don't feel the need to pursue it, because it's just going to be one night anyway. I would not want to ruin what I have right now just because of that one experience. Of course, go if he's not interested.
Exactly, because also what happened to, and I think it's very important to verbalize that for everybody that listens to this, is that there's no guarantee when you are attracted to somebody else that this somebody else will stick with you for the long run as your partner has up.
Yes. Yes, it's important to not throw what you invest. It's important to not throw what you've invested so much, effort and intimacy and love into just for that one, sense of attraction that you don't even know if it's real. And if you do find out that it's a real attraction, I feel it's best to talk to your partner. And if you're, just give your partner the option to opt out if they're not interested, and just end things with your partner first, respectfully, before you go pursue that particular attraction. I think it's just the respectful thing to do.
Yeah. And I think too, like sometimes what happens is that couples are so into their own heads with work and then get the routine and security that they are in a long-term relationship that they lose that intimate connection to share their emotions and feelings. Because I feel like for men, maybe is more sexual, woman is more emotional. And if a man get this kind of disconnected physically with his partner, and then he's trying to look around and see that somebody else is giving him that kind of vibe, he's gonna be like, oh, hold on. I can have that with her, but I'm not having with my partner, where I'm building like a hard life and we struggle and we do. And the same thing goes for the woman. Oh, my partner is not checking in on me. He's not texting me to say how I'm going. Yeah. Pay attention to her. Call in, just say, hey, babe, you know what? I miss you. Just want to hear your voice. How's your day? Like little things like that does change everything. So I feel like they get too comfortable in a way, the lack of taking really care and flourish that relationship.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, and then the fact that somebody bring that to you, it might just break that kind of code and bring you guys together. So it's always important to verbalize before you got to that point.
Very important. You're very right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm single. You're too cute to be single, Kebu Joy.
Well, I'm in a committed relationship right now, even though we've not taken it, full blown, but we're enjoying the process right now. And I don't want to rush it. I mean, there's so much time actually. So yeah, let's just enjoy the ride, and then wherever it leads us to, we'll be happy to take it.
And it's so funny to me when we mentioned in this conversation earlier that we get so insecure. I wanted to say that for the ladies that listen to this, because I think it's like, I was with my girlfriend this weekend and it was so painful to me to seeing her comparing herself, her body, her face to another woman, to another human being. Guys, we are all beautiful. We are all beautiful. We are all beautiful. Sometimes one person can look at you and not see you the same eyes that another person is seeing you. But there's no such a thing as like, oh, you are ugly, because you might look at me and you say, oh, Beatriz, you ugly. But then there is another person and look at me like, you beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, I could put you on my wall. Like,
Yeah. So there's no such a thing as like, oh, you ugly, you ugly. Like, stop comparing yourself. You are beautiful in your own way. Like, don't put yourself in that mold. You're made unique. There's nobody that's gonna be just as smell like you or look like you or have your little ticks and flaws and whatever. Like, be you and be authentic yourself, that somebody will look at you and gonna be like, wow, this is the love of my life.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that I tell my female clients, like, your worth is only determined by what you say it is. I mean, no one can tell you what is enough for you to do or what to be like. You just keep being yourself. In fact, someone who genuinely, how do you know someone genuinely loves you and will stick by you if they don't see the real you and love you for that real person? Your flaws, your imperfections, and your silliness and whatever it is that they can find in there. So I mean, just be yourself and love yourself, because
there's nothing better than that. I know, like, and I told my girlfriend, because she's younger than me, and I told her, and I know a lot of girls go through that when they listen the word love yourself. They don't know what that really means, because they say, oh my gosh, I do love myself. I look at myself and then I become pretty.
Self-love with self-indulgence. Yeah, I see that all the time. Yeah.
Right. So what does it really mean, love yourself? Love yourself means that you're not going to be checking in his freaking phone every time, or you're not going to be stalking him on social media when you guys grow up.
Entitled so much, like, you can't even be doing that. Be doing that.
Right. So what else can you say for girls to find the true love in themselves? What else you would tell them to cultivate it?
So the biggest step to actually loving yourself, I think, starts with being aware of who you really are. Every single part, your shadows, your traumas, the things that make you, your strengths, your weaknesses, your good parts, your bad parts, your values, whatever, everything that makes a combination of you. The moment you're beginning to become aware of that, nobody can come and tell you a version of you and you accept that and go cry in one corner because somebody says something, because you know yourself, you know who the fuck you are. And so no one is going to show you a balance, right? So when you begin to be aware, then you can accept all of those things about yourself. Like, yeah, this is who I am, and I'm going to accept myself, while also helping to move through the ones that I need to grow past and integrate as much as what I need to integrate. And that leads us to being accountable for yourself. I mean, like you said, stop checking in his phone, because that's you not being accountable for your emotions and your mental health. You have to be accountable for it. It doesn't mean that you're a fool. It doesn't mean that, you know, you don't have some sense of, you know, ownership to the relationship or whatever, but it means you prioritize your pleasure. You're so focused on staying sane and staying, you know, in that blissful and joyful state, and not even your partner is going to be able to take that away from you, right? That I think is going to really help a lot.
I think the checking the phone and whatever is like, why? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not saying things enough. I'm not doing enough. Like you said before, it's nothing to do with us. It's always to do with the person. The action comes from this person, has to do to himself.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful interview. Thank you so much for your time and making this happen for everybody that is listening to us. And I will finish this by saying, for everybody, be true to yourself and be kind to yourself, and be in a journey of loving yourself first and understanding who you are before you become somebody else. True love. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anyways, guys, if you're not following us yet, go on Instagram at Pod Sexy in Toronto City. My name is Beatriz Vieira. Thank you so much for you listening and watching this interview with Kebu Joy, directly from Nigeria. And if you want to follow her, it's at Kebu Joy in Instagram as well, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and she'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kebu.
Thank you so much.